soon meet our panel members, but first let's look at some disturbing facts. So, in spite of the impression that may be reached from looking even at the latest exit list, weeks, Ways, Trustir, or Navo, according to a recent research made by Shikar Ghosh, a senior lecturer at Harvard Business School, 3 out of 4 venture capital-backed startup does not show return on investment for the investors. The research looked at more than 2,000 companies that raised at least $1 million in 2004-2010, and interviewed VC partners and startup entrepreneurs. The result of the research show that in 30 to 40% of companies, investors lost all their money when the company was closed. In 95% of startups, investors don't get return on investment. They cannot get the expected return on these risky investments. So, many young startups get stuck and cannot evolve. In the following session, we will try to answer the question of how to not get stuck or how to grow a startup. So first, let's meet our panel members. Please introduce yourself to the audience and say a quick word about your company. Renato. You want to say something about your company?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I just arrived a couple of minutes ago, so I'm not familiar with the situation yet. It's also my first day in Israel. I thank to Yossi Valdi that invented that. Thanks to Yossi Valdi that invited me. Actually, I did the startup in 94 in Czech Republic. They were almost the first days of the internet, and we started an internet venture in Italy. Then I moved to Czech Republic, tried to get a pilot for other countries in the so-called New Europe. And was the first commercial internet offer in the country in a situation which was even very difficult to get a telephone line. The people were waiting for years in order to have a telephone line. So to have internet was very difficult. Venture capital didn't exist at all, and we just invested something that we could afford to lose. So we were investing money to lose in somehow. We were investing money that with an high expectation to lose. And in any case, we were not looking for immediate or fast return. It happened that in 4 years' time, we sold the company to an American company, an American private equity, keeping a stake and selling 1 year later to Telecom Austria with a huge return. So the result is that we were working in order to enjoy what we were doing. We were very proud of what we were doing. We were betting some money that we could afford to lose, and we had a wonderful return.
Thank you, Maryse.
Hi, my name is Maryse Thomas, and I'm the founder of a company called Pokeware. We're an ad tech company, and we enable visual search for object and video. I want to thank Yossi Valdi for hosting this amazing event and including me. I think that in the startup environment, especially now, it's becoming more and more challenging because of contraction in the economy globally. So running a lean startup is something that fortunately we have because of so many free resources that are available, or low-cost resources, compared to when I started my company back in 1997, which was very early. And I think ultimately, in the next few years, with all of the new tools that are available, from crowdsourced funding to being able to communicate via social media at very low costs and being smart about how to raise capital will ultimately, in the startup community, pose big threats to some of the larger companies that are currently in existence. And I'll use one really simple example that I think everyone here is familiar with. When you think of organizational inertia, some of the bigger companies like Nokia or Polaroid or Kodak, and you look at a company like Instagram with no real forecast of a revenue model, and a small group of entrepreneurs from San Francisco who turn around and sell a company within 18 months for over $1 billion using tools that other companies created. Other companies had patents on photo filtering and photo sharing. And you see these gigantic, gargantuan companies fail. I mean, there needs to be some level of recognition of that in both the startup community and the financing community.
Thank you. Omri.
Hello, my name is Omri. I'm the founder of Genome Compiler. We're a software company in the synthetic biology space, and I think the T-shirt said it all. We hack life. So synthetic biology is an amazing space where you can now not just read DNA, but write DNA. So you can write code not in ones and zeros for computers. You can write code with A, T, G's, and C's for living things. And talking about crowdfunding, we just did a crowdfunding campaign just to demonstrate the power of our platform and to educate and inspire people about the possibilities of synthetic biology to create glowing plants, to take bioluminescent genes from fireflies and marine bacteria and move it to plants. We asked for $65,000. We got $500,000. And if you go to San Francisco at 665 3rd Street, you can go to the lab and see the first glowing plant in real life. It's pretty amazing. Though Kickstarter changed the rules after we did the campaign and didn't allow genetically modified creature to be a perk. So next campaign will be in Indiegogo, I guess. Thank you.
Well, glowing plants. How do I top that? So my background is long and versatile. I started 30 years ago developing search engines before that word existed, here in Israel actually. Then I spent many years doing enterprise software for telecoms, and then spent about 15 years in various consumer, internet, and mobile entities of Web 1.0. I was involved with ICQ, with Winamp, Netscape, AOL. Those are brands that used to be the internet. Looking by the ages here, not many of you know them. And then most recently I was president of an online social network for meeting new people called Badoo. Altogether, in my experience, I have acquired, not personally, but within the organization I was with, of over 1.5 billion users in the various companies that I was involved with. Right now I'm focusing on another startup of mine which is doing something a little bit different, developing ultra-low-powered Wi-Fi sensors for the improvement of quality of life for seniors, mostly in the United States. That's me.
I could use some of those 1.5 billion users. Yeah, we launched in January 2008. Just a really quick story. We were planning to raise money in the fall of 2008 because we didn't want to start right away by getting diluted a lot with investors. So in Q1, we wanted to come to market. In Q2, get case studies and prove them out. And in Q3 of 2008, we were going to promote our case studies and raise money. Well, if I was able to predict the future, I probably wouldn't have done that because Q3 of 2008, the market crashes. And we're unable to raise money all the way till 2010, and that's just $275,000. So for nearly 3 years, we had absolutely positively zero money except for our own money. We end up raising more money later, and then last year raised an A round of $15 million. But a story of how things have changed. So there's a campaign, there's a product called the Canary, which is a mobile device that is able to do security in the home. And they actually wanted nothing to do with crowdfunding or Indiegogo. They went to Silicon Valley and they wanted to get real VC money from Sand Hill Road. And they were able to get many term sheets. They got many. But all the term sheets, in their opinion, were very, very bad. And they said, why are you treating us like these? This is really bad term sheets. We have a real product. We're showing you that we have customers. Why are we getting such bad term sheets? And all the VCs were like, these are the deals. Take it or leave it. So then what happened is they had a little bit of angels money from before, just small hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they went out to Indiegogo and they wanted to raise a couple $100,000. They end up raising $2 million on Indiegogo. But that's not the point of this story. The point of this story is during the campaign, while they were raising money, and more importantly, while they were getting customer after customer and PR and customer after customer, one of the investors from Silicon Valley reaches out to one of the angels who had actually already invested in Canary and said, what is the bank account information for this company? And they wired money right into their bank account and said, we agree to the terms that you wanted. The Canary folks not only did not accept it, they're like, you've got to be joking. Things have now changed 10x.
Reem.
Hi, my name is Reem. I come from Nazareth. I thought I was the oldest one in this panel, so it's good to have, experienced people. Not old. We're experienced, I think. We started our company, Alpha Omega, back in 1993, together with my husband, Imad. The idea of Alpha Omega was, we didn't have an idea to start a startup. The only thing that was pushing us to start this company was bringing high tech to Nazareth, to the Arab sector, to the Arab community. So we started the company back then, and that's why we called it Alpha Omega. We said we'll do everything. We'll do everything from A to Z. Little by little, we went into the medical equipment business. We are at the operation room with the doctor, treating people with neurological and mental disorders, helping them to get better. That's Alpha Omega now.
So we will start with the key question. Everyone wants to know what the answer is. Omri, what would you say is the most important thing for a successful startup? Is it team, technology, product, investor, mentor?
You forgot to mention customers. I think that you forget as a startup that you need to make money, right? So customers are beautiful. It doesn't matter if you have team, product, everything, if nobody wants to buy it. And customer brings more customer, it focuses your team, it gets you revenue to operate, it validates what you're doing, and I think customers is number one.
Amit?
Well, if there was a formula to answer your question, then all companies would be successful, right? So there is no formula. The only thing that you can do to try and increase the odds of success are certain elements that you can do. Others are maybe the magic or creativity of people. So when I look at startups, it's never about the ideas. The ideas are plenty. Everyone here has 5 ideas right now. In my mind, it's always about finding people who have a combination of 3 things. Smart, creativity, and abilities. What I mean by that is creativity does not mean necessarily that they know how to draw a nice picture. Creativity could be in any things that they do, whether it's coming up with new ways of getting customers, that people have not thought of, coming up with new products, new mechanisms of doing things, technical, or actually creativity in terms of what the product looks like, how is it going to work, how would users engage with it. And then the most important element is ability. I think it was Edison who said that vision without execution is hallucination. So the ability to actually take what they think of and make it happen is the most important thing. So if you find these 3 elements in a person, in my mind, that's the biggest formula to actually make that company successful. The rest, they will bring with them.
So maybe Maryse, how do you get the right talent? I mean, you need to find them somewhere.
Certainly, talent is critical, and I think when considering whatever product you're going into the marketplace with, it's important while you're identifying who your team members are going to be, they should be complementary and not mirror who you are. So you don't want 10 of you walking around, right? You want to find someone who's going to focus on the sales and business development, another person who's going to manage really like the core elements of corporate governance. And then you want to be considerate of timing into the marketplace. I think, again, everyone, as you said, has great ideas in this room. But some of the moving parts may not make sense for timing into the marketplace. Some too early, some too late, or really just not the right location and time for the product. And I think one of the most important things that we need to consider now more than ever is behavior and how people are engaged. So, when I think about, I think all of us here on stage, all of us have a mobile phone, right? And we're kind of always on. So with that in mind, the cell phone is the center of our universe. It has so much ability to kind of like do anything. So in consideration of how we behave with that device in particular, it can help us better understand about how our product is going to make sense in the marketplace, since we're mostly all in the digital space.
Reem, how do you get the right talent to your company?
Well, it's better to get experienced people, but sometimes you can't afford them. And I think it's a decision for the company. So basically in Alpha Omega, having limited resources, we decided to grow leaders inside the company. We took young people, we worked together, and little by little we grow them as leaders. In Alpha Omega, we have very experienced people. We have actually our production manager. He started with us 20 years ago, and he's still in the company. So basically, that's the way that we took. I don't think that it's good for everybody, but that's the way that we decided to go with.
I'd like to add, I think you need to remember that a company has a life cycle, and there's different needs at different time. And the people that you start the company with, as good and talented and creative and passionate as they may not necessarily be the people that you need in a later stage of the company's life. One of the things that's needed is the ability, as the company grows, to identify the limitations of the people that you have and to make sometimes difficult changes. I think that as a company grows, your ability to attract, I don't want to say better talent, but different type of talent or more appropriate type of talent grows. You become more attractive, you become more known, you become more successful, you're able to compensate in a certain way that allows you to attract different caliber or different type of talent as you grow. The people that helped form the company are not necessarily the people always that end the companies in their life. It's different elements at every time.
Sure. Okay.
Just one thing, I think it helps if you have a way to inspire people and something that is a higher goal. And for us, I think it was easy to attract good people just because the mission is big and people really attract to it. So try to find something that is bigger than, hey, let's make more money. Let's try to change the world in a better way.
And so let's move to finance, and I will ask Slava and Renato how and when to raise the finance. We know that there are different ways to raise money. Slava just talked about it. Can you share with us what is the best way in your view?
It's pretty funny because if I was invited here 2.5 years ago, you would first of all not ask me how to raise money because I got rejected by every single person and VC and investor that I ever asked for 3 years. Every single one. Everybody out there I've been turned down by. So, it's important to be passionate, and it's important to make sure that you believe in your own idea, because no one will believe in your idea except for you when it starts off. And what I would say, the more crazy they think you are, the bigger the idea you have, because they just don't get it yet. And the easier they understand it, the more likely you're just copying something very simple that exists today. So the only thing that I can tell you is we kept on moving the train. People like to get on a train that's moving. They don't want to actually move the train. So we just kept on getting customers and more data and more proof and more PR and more people wanting to work for us. And basically every investor is like, I have no idea why anybody's doing this. Why do people give money and not get profit in return? Why are people working for you? Why is this now working in 100 countries and you have no money? Until finally they were just like, okay. The actual process was $275,000 in 2010 in a convertible note, which was very hard to raise. I actually would tell you that most likely a majority of that money was just people being nice to me and just saying like, you're cute, go ahead, like lose my money, it's okay. And then we raised 1.5 million in 2011, and that was supposed to last us 18 months. And then 14 months later, we still had $1.1 million because revenues were growing significantly more than expected and expenses had already multiplied 6x. And then we raised $15 million.
Okay. Renato.
Yes, how to finance a startup. As I said before, in 1994, we just collect some personal money that we did in previous business. In 1998, I did another startup in Italy, which was taking advantage of the liberalization of the telecommunication sector, so offering internet and telco services. And we raised as a first round 4 million euros, but 1 year later, we went public and we raised 160 million euros. And we had the opportunity to expand the business and to grow outside Italy. And then we did a merge with another company that actually we acquired it. At the end of the day, we reached almost 10 billion market cap. Why I'm saying that? Because I would like to comment on something that I have heard, which is, what is a startup for? To make money? Well, if it's to make money, the internet bubble was the best possible situation. There is a lot of people that lose money, but some people can make huge money. Actually, I was not trying to make money, I was trying to make an industry, which means creating services, having the opportunity to see your service used by a lot of people all over Europe or all over a country. Seeing a brand well-known and with a good reputation, seeing a lot of people working with you and working well. In a few words, creating an industry is different than creating a startup to make money. And I didn't sell the company, even if I left at the end of 2003. With a company that moved from 0 revenues to 1.5 billion euros of revenues in 4 years. I left going to politics as a governor of a region. I left an industry, and then I came back to this company 3 years ago, in order to restart in somehow, moving from a business model to a total different business model. What I'm trying to say is that, to me, the passion and the motivation to create jobs, to create a company full of people working, to create a company that is able to offer services and to expand all over out of your country, to create a company that is able to innovate, to create technologies, to create, to move the education and the skills of the people that you have hired, is much more motivating than making money himself. That's it.